Hello, everyone. It's William here at Allegory Gallery. Thank you for joining me today. I'm trying to get my stand in line here. Everything's a little bit discombobulated today. Whew, how are you all doing? I see Kimberly's here. Kimberly says, welcome in, say hi, and don't forget to smash the like button. Exactly, y'all. Exactly. We should have as many likes as we have people watching, at least, right? That's what we like to see. And we appreciate you all being here. Hello, Kimberly. Thank you for being here. If you're out there, please also let us know where you're tuning in from. We are doing our Wednesday thing today. Most of our lives go at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Every other day of the week, Monday through Friday, weekday, we go live at 7:30 p.m. But today, it's Wednesday, so we go at 3 p.m. And that's because I have a pottery class in the evening. And we used to do the live. Andrew would start the live with like a tutorial or something in the evenings, but we didn't get to the actual selling part of the live until I got home, which was very late to get started. And a lot of times people said it was too late. So we do this in the afternoon. And sometimes people are here, sometimes people aren't here. It depends on the day. Sometimes these are the busiest live of the week, and sometimes they're the slowest. So we never know. It's very up and down today, but we appreciate everybody who comes to join us. For those of you who can't make it at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, it is a great time to try if you can make it on Wednesdays. Kimberly's tuning in during an office meeting. LOL. Nice. Thank you for being here. Dominique's here. Hello, Dominique. Thank you for being here. How's everything going for you? It's good to see you again. How was your live yesterday? I didn't get a chance, of course, didn't get a chance because we go live around the same time. How was your live yesterday? What'd you do? If y'all don't follow Dominique, make sure you do. If y'all don't follow Kimberly, make sure you do. They both have their own YouTube channels as well that they're trying to build out. And we appreciate all the subscribes and all the follows, all the likes, all the views. It really helps small businesses. Dominique says, I am here and editing my website. Nice, nice. I just had to, we use Shopify for our website, and every once in a while they throw out new updates to the, it's kind of a template, I guess. I can't remember what they call them. Maybe they're templates. I can't remember. It's kind of the general build out, and then you edit it and do all this stuff to it. We did a lot of editing kind of to ours, but every once in a while they throw out an update to that. And usually I'm one of those people, like as soon as a new phone update comes out, I'm like, update, update, update. I want the new features. I want the new stuff. When it comes to the website, I'm a little bit like, we've never broken any, knock on wood, we've never broken anything seriously with an update. But you never know. And so it's been difficult to hit that update button, but I finally did it yesterday. I moved some things around on the website. I updated a few of the collections on the homepage, and I hit that update button yesterday to see how it would go, and I think it's okay. I think it's fine. Let's see here. Dominique says it was great. We opened up the companion bundle from Beatbox Bargains and then played with new texture plates. Nice, nice. Dawn is here. Says hello, William. I have to leave to walk my daughter's dogs in about 40 minutes. So hopefully I can watch the rest when I get back. Yeah, we appreciate that. Just catch the rest whenever you're able to. But we're glad you're here for the chat portion at least. I've got a coffee today. I stopped along the way real quick and grabbed that when I was on my way back from the post office today to come up here for the live. I was up here earlier, went to the post office, did my drop before the live because I know I don't get to the post office after my live, but before my class because they're closed. Dominique says, tease my new kit dropping tomorrow. Oh boy, I'll have to take a look at that. Dominique says, I have broken my website with one, and thankfully, Sean, my boyfriend, was able to rescue me. That's good. That's good. Dominique says, "Oh, second coffee is needed." Yeah, my voice is a little gravelly. I really haven't talked to many people. I really haven't done much talking at all today. I thank the people that drive through for my coffee. Andrew and I talked a little bit. I talked to the cats, but that's why I'm like, "Arr, arr, arr, arr." My voice is not, it's not broken in yet today. Um, it's too early in the day for that for me. Um, but yeah, so sorry if I sound a little gravelly. It is definitely, I have not used my voice much today. Um, that's what it is with a small business, right? Sometimes we are so in our own world that we don't actually see other people very often. So that was like today. Like I said, Andrew and I talked a little bit today. I talked to the cats probably more than I talked to him. And then I came up here and did some work and was by myself, and I had the TV on instead of the radio. Sometimes when I have the music playing, I'll sing along, and that breaks it up. But I had the TV on, so I was just watching while I packed instead of doing anything else. So I was all so gravelly. Donna says it's so hot, 90 degrees with 107 heat indexes. Oh my goodness. It is not hot here. It is lovely. Um, it is it is 71 and it feels like 66. The heat index is 66. It's actually lower um than the actual, which is so strange for this time of year. But it feels like a fall day out there. It's a little bit humid, but it's not too bad. It's only 67% humidity right now, so it's not too bad. It's still a little bit sticky-ish, but I was driving around with the windows down and it was so nice. It was actually, I almost put a little bit of a sweater on. The house was freezing today. Um, we had the air conditioner still running because we weren't sure if the humidity was going to drop overnight enough to open the windows. So we just left the air on to keep everything dry in the house. But Andrew was fine. I was cold. I was like under my covers last night and I couldn't figure out why. I was like, it's not that, I didn't think it was that cold out. Now that I see that the actual is actually higher than the real feel, that's why. It feels like 66 and we had the air conditioner running at like what outside feels like 66 and then inside the air is still running. So I was chilly today and now I know why. I had two covers on. At one point in the night, it was warmer though. I was sweating through the night, and then by morning, I was like shivering, looking for my covers. Um, so it's so strange, and I am not complaining, not one bit, because I will take this weather over the stuff like Donna's getting and some of y'all are getting out there right now. I don't want the heat. I will happily deal with a real heat index of 66 instead of 71, which is the real feel or the real temperature. Um, I will definitely, I prefer that. I would prefer that. And it's supposed to be like that, I guess, for the next few days. We're supposed to be partly sunny today, which it is kind of gray, but sunny tomorrow, sunny on Friday. And then 7 days of rain and thunderstorms coming up, but nothing higher than like 83, which is so nice. Let's see here. Susan's here. Hello, Susan. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you could be here with us. I hope you and everybody over there is doing well. Is my friend Smokey watching today? Dominique says, I don't function early either. No, I do not function early. I'm not an early riser. I always tell people this. I go to bed at 3 or 4 in the morning. I wake up around 11 or noon. And for some people, that sounds, when you tell somebody you wake up at 11 or noon, you get so much, like my whole life I've been like this. And my whole life I've gotten people that have tried to say I'm lazy or I need to get up earlier. I need to, do more in my day. I have heard everything. Um, and, it gets to you after a while. You start thinking, am I lazy? Like I always did super well in school. I always had all my stuff turned in mostly on time. Everybody messes up, but on time. I always did my work on time. I always got things done in my work day. You know, but you still that sinks in, like people telling you that you are lazy or you need to be up earlier or you need to, early bird catches the worm. And um for a long time I had this own thing in my head because of what other people would say. And now as I'm getting older, I'm like, because everyone's like, oh, you're just a kid, this is going to change, you're going to become an adult, and you're going to get on the rest of everybody's schedule. Well, we started our own business so I can be on my own schedule. I've never had to, other than in school when I needed to be up early. um, and so, this is my normal. And I'm fortunate to be able to do it, not to have to fit in necessarily with a society that forces most people to live and work at super early hours. I have had jobs like that before. I don't do well with that. And so I know how fortunate I am, but I'm also, just trying to get over that stigma of being lazy. Or it's hard to tell someone like, oh yeah, I wake up at 11 noon, and people look at you like immediately judge you. Like it is an immediate thing. um but then you tell them, well, I went to bed at 3 o'clock, or I went to bed at 4 o'clock. What were you doing at 4 o'clock? Some of them were just getting up. So it does make sense. And when I prefer 8 or 9 hours of sleep. I've always done better on that schedule, and I try to make sure I do that. Um, and it's not always easy. I don't always get it. For a long time, I had a very hard time sleeping. Um, Especially when I had anxiety and was not taking medicine for it. Now that I am, I do sleep better, and I do try and get my 8 or 9 hours when I can, at least 6 or 7. And that usually gets me to about 10 to noon, somewhere in there. Um, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, it's difficult. Um, it's not difficult for me. It's difficult to, have the judgmental reactions to it. Um, but most people, once they realize you're going to bed at 4, they're like, "Oh, I couldn't do that." So now I get it. Um, yeah, most people are not capable of staying up at 4. I mean, not extended periods of time. Just like I don't feel capable of getting up at 5 or 6 in the morning for extended. I can do it once or twice in a row if I need to, or like a week if we're taking a class and I absolutely have to. Um, but it's not a thing for me. Um, Donna says the humidity is brutal here in Alabama. I bet we were at 89 or something yesterday. That was hard. Um, Dominique says I will take this over 94 next week. Thankfully, we're not supposed to get up past, like, what I say, 83. I'm so happy about it. Um, Donna says that sounds heavenly, William. It is very nice. I have to say, I don't know how we're getting lucky in this, because a lot of y'all are getting super humid and super bad kind of heat, but we're not. And I'm knocking on wood that we we stay this way, because I don't want it. I don't want it. My hair is doing something wild back here. I just noticed that. Wow, I'm driving around talking. I'm not talking to many people, at least. I'm talking to all of you out there now. With my wild hair, my colic. I have four colic. I have two. I have a colic here. I have a colic here. I have a colic up here, and I have a colic somewhere up here. So my hairstylist definitely has their work cut out for them whenever I get my hair styled. um, my current one, she has gotten pretty used to it, so she works around them pretty well. But it's always one of those things that uh it's a difficult thing for people when they're learning my hair. It's also why I keep my hair usually kind of longer-ish in certain places because it keeps those from going too wild usually. If I cut it too short and don't style it like a little bit crazy, that's why my hair through most of my life has been styled a little bit wildly or longer that it can lay or part over. Because certain shorter styles that need to be like really, exacting. I've always wanted like some of those, I don't know what era it was, but like kind of slicked over and shorter, but I can't do that because these will just pop right up in the air. I could really slick them down, but I don't like using too much product in my hair. Um, let's see. Amanda's here. Hello, Amanda. Thanks for joining us. How are things up in Canada? Are you doing okay up there? Dominique said, same. I never wanted a 9 to 5 job. I was not a person that early in the, yeah. No, I can't do it that early in the morning. Me either. And for most people, you say that and they're like, 9, that's not early. And I'm like, yes, 9 is early. um, that's like sometimes only 5 hours into my night, right? So that's pretty early. And I know some people sleep less and less, and they say as you get older, you sleep less and less. But I I uh I try very hard to get 8 or 9 hours of sleep. Um and sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night. I try to make sure I go back to bed. Um it's just I feel better. And my body feels better, and sleep is when your body kind of repairs itself. So, the more sleep you get, I think um the better your body's able to repair itself. And I can definitely feel it. I can definitely feel it. Um, let's see here. Ba, ba, ba. Oh, everybody's saying glad to hear from you, Amanda. Amanda says thank you. I was thinking about you this week with horrible high heat. Oh, talking to Susan. Um, Susan says our weather's improved, only 87 for a high and 48% humidity. I'll take it. That's much better. Yeah, that's what she said. That's much better. Dominique says, laughing, says, I barely had my coffee at 9 a.m. Yeah, I don't drink caffeine, like it's decaf stuff. Sometimes I do a half calf, um, but so I don't really get up and drink coffee. I drink water or juice water. I make juice water and I drink that. So I don't start my day with any caffeine. I don't have caffeine most of my day unless I get like a half calf. Um, so it's not always easy, but yeah, I'm definitely not up at 9. Hardly ever, unless we're going to a class or something, or we have to be on the road. 9 o'clock kind of doesn't exist for me. I should be in dreamland at that point. Man, says the weather here is so nice right now, 24 Celsius with some wind, so it feels cooler. I love it. Nice. Yeah, that's like us. We're at 71, but it feels like 66, apparently. And it does. It feels like a fall day. It's lovely. Hey, Kim. Says popping in between chores and errands. Thanks for being here, Kim. Glad to see you. Jen is also here. Hello, Jen. Thank you for being here. Susan says, I was always stuck with an 8 to 5 job, not because I wanted an 8 to 5 job, but I needed the benefits the job provided. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I said. Society sticks you with that stuff. And we have been very lucky that for most of my life, I have not had a job where society forced me into that kind of position. Um, I really do think that we need kind of some kind of renovation of all of that, of the working hours and working days. And, um, you know, uh, I know there are a lot of night people out there that have been forced to be morning people. Um, and, they talk about like places being open. If they were open at night, there would be no one there. And I don't think that's true. I think it's just that there aren't enough jobs available at that hour that are like normal jobs for people who want to work those hours. Um, I know, like, if I could get a retail like, we had a retail in a store that, could be open until, like, 3 a.m. And I know sometimes they consider that dangerous, but I think it's only because we don't normal it's not a normal thing. Because bars are open and that's when people get drunk sometimes and all that. But I think if it was a more normal thing that most places had a night shift, and the people in the area who like the night shift work the night shift and shop the night shift, I think it would be much better for people. And, I'm really surprised businesses haven't done it because you would think it would be a great way to maximize even more profits. Um, because you would catch all the people who, would prefer to work at that time and be more productive and also be out shopping and stuff at that time. I know if there were stores open and restaurants open until like 3, 4 a.m., I know Andrew and I probably, if we were able to, if we had money to, we would probably eat out more just because that's more of the time when we eat. We don't eat until 11 or midnight, and everything's closed around here. It's closed in most places around that time. So, other than if you want bar food. And so, if restaurants were open at that point, I know we'd be out there. I know not everyone would, um, but if society were made that, we had a lot of jobs available at that time and people could go back to their normal circadian rhythms, I think it would be much better for people. Why we've done this early thing all the time, I don't know. Um, oh, this is I'm so used to getting up early, it doesn't bother me anymore. Of course, I'm an old lady. I don't know, like I don't know how you get used to that. I've never been able to. I've never been able to. My whole life, even when I had early jobs, um, I'd do really great at the beginning, and then I would have a hard time, like, a few months into the job, like just keeping that up because I naturally stay up late. Like it is almost impossible for me to go to bed before midnight. If I do, I will do the two sleeps thing. I will wake up in 4 hours, almost exactly to the minute. I will wake up 4 hours later and be wide awake. And so even if I try to get to bed early, I will be wide awake in 4 hours and will not be able to sleep again, for another at least 2 or 3 hours. So I get that break in the middle of the night. If I could time that, I guess exactly right, I guess I could do 4 hours and go to work, come home, get 4 hours, and be back up. Um, but even that I've tried that before when I could. It's not easy. Um, Try to do that kind of napping, like 4 hours sleeps at a time twice a day. And that's really hard for getting anything else done in your life. But also, I just didn't feel rested after a while. So I've never been able to get used to it. My body just does not agree with it. Susan says, my brother was a night person. At least his day job was working with people in California. That helped a lot. I bet, or helped a bit. Yeah. Um, Amanda says we have a couple food places open until 3 or 4 a.m. around the universities. That's awesome. That is that's good. I don't even think when I was in university, I guess we did. We had an Eaton Park, and Eaton Park was open 24 hours back then. So after we were done at the bars at 2 or 3, we could go to Eaton Park and eat. But that was one of the very, very, very few places that was open that late. Um, Once the bars closed down, most of the town would close down until morning. Um, but that's awesome. I wish. I wish we had a place or two that would stay open. We have our sheets, so we do. If we need to, if we're, we've done it a few times here after the live when we don't feel like cooking or didn't get to the grocery store that day, we stop at Sheets and order some kind of food. It's not always the healthiest, but at least it's available. Um, Donna says, when I worked in a dental assistance insurance clerk, I had to be at work at 7:30 a.m. 5 days a week. See, I'd be getting like because you got to get up and get ready and then drive there. I'd be getting like 2 hours of sleep a night, um, and then trying to sleep, maybe getting a few extra hours here and there. That would be terrible for me. Terrible. And they say you can get used to it. Like you said, you got used to it. I have never been able to. I've had jobs where I needed to be up early a lot, and um, I never got to the point where I was like, okay, this is fine. I'm working on this. The going to bed is working. The getting up is working. It has never worked. Um, so I'm thankful for the life that we have, in that I am able to do what I do in the way that I do, and we have built this life where we can do this because I don't think I could do it. I would not last very long any other way. Um, it's just not. It's not me. It's not me. Um, and that's like I said. I've always Andrew and I've always talked. We're like, yeah, we would be better off. Like, we wouldn't be better off personally. Like, if we could open our shop at like 6 p.m., 5 or 6 p.m., and keep it open until 1 or 2 in the morning, and if we could get customers in at that time, um, that would be like the perfect hours, for us, because that's when I'm most wide awake. That's when, you know, it feels good for me to be up and working and up and around and doing things. I'm more productive during that time. Um, so that's why we open at 11 now, at least. We used to try to open at 10 or 9, um, and I was fighting that. Um, Even 11 to get up there in time now that it's in Johnstown. Even 11 is sometimes hard for me because to get up and do some of the errands I have to do, as you'll see, sometimes I open at noon, because I'm not up in time to get and do my errands and all that. So it's a challenge sometimes. Susan says, "Oh Lordy, there were times at my old job I was there before 7 a.m. and there until hell froze over. I don't miss that at all. I bet. I bet." Um, Jen said, "That's what's great about NYC. Where else can you do 500,000 things all at a quarter till three?" Yeah, yeah, NYC was good. Although I will say, I mean, we lived in Brooklyn, and there was like one place that stayed open 24 hours for food, where we were. Um, and that was a bagel shop, Sunset Bagels. I don't know if they're still there or not, but we were in Sunset Park in Brooklyn, and Sunset Bagels was open 24 hours. Um, and there was when I was living in Midtown, or Hell's Kitchen, there was Renaissance Diner, and so at Renaissance Diner, um, I was kind of poshy there a little bit. We we come back from the clubs and we'd all dine in usually. Sometimes we do takeout, but mostly we dine in, and it would be packed because they were the place that was open 24 hours, and you could get diner food, but you could also get nice food. And I would get chicken rollantini with coconut shrimp, fried coconut shrimp. So fried coconut shrimp was my app, and then I get chicken rollantini, which was a chicken rolled with, it had like prosciutto inside. I don't know what all they put in there. And it was so good. It was so good. But that was like my normal meal there after the clubs. Um, Jermaine says you could create a bead shop jazz club with those hours. I know, right? I would love that. But we do have a jazz cafe across the street from us, so I don't know that they would like that so much. Um, Maybe they would. We'd all get doing jazz together. They're the daytime hours, and we could be the nighttime hours. Um, Sue says, "What part of Brooklyn?" Sunset Park. That's where we ended up. Andrew and I had been, so when I moved to New York, I moved in with my friend. I was telling this story a little bit, I think, yesterday. I moved in with my friend, and he was in Hell's Kitchen. So I moved into Hell's Kitchen. I worked in Gramercy at the time. That's where I got my first job. And then when I moved out, I moved to Staten Island. um, which I always talk about. I'm like, talk about planes, trains, and automobiles, if you know that movie. Um, from Staten Island to get to work every day, I had to take the bus from the house to the ferry station. And then, so I got on the bus, then I took the ferry across the water to um, Manhattan. And then I took the subway from the ferry station to Union Square. And then I walked from Union Square up to Gramercy to work. Um, so every day I had to time the bus right. I had to get on the right bus and not miss that bus to catch the ferry right. And then I had to wait. Now I see people in New York and it's like they've got the signs telling you when the next subway train is coming. They didn't have that. So you just got down to the platform and you were like, I guess I'll catch it when it comes next. So you never knew how long you were waiting for a train. Um, but I would get off the ferry. I had kind of an idea of when the train usually came. Um, so sometimes I had to run from the ferry to the subway station and then catch the subway train up to close to work and then walk the rest of the way. And I had to do all of that and be up in time for all of that to get to work on time. Um, so that was interesting. But I did like Staten Island because it was a little bit more like a regular kind of neighborhood. Like it didn't feel like New York as much. It was a little bit more remote. It obviously was. But like there was a mall and you could drive there if you had a car. And I took the bus everywhere, but it felt more neighborhood like and like kind of what I grew up with a little bit more. It was still busier than what I grew up with, but um, so then after that, I moved to Park Slope in Brooklyn. I actually moved in with one of my roommates from college was looking for a roommate in New York. She had moved there also, and I took a room with her. And so we lived together for a year or so in Park Slope, and I loved Park Slope. Um, and then she was looking to move out of that place. I'm not sure why, but she was looking to move in with some other friends somewhere else, and I was going to move in with her, but that didn't work out. Um, and I'm kind of glad it didn't work out because I guess the first day they moved in, were in there, they got robbed, which was terrible. But I'm glad I was not in all of that. And so um, I had, I think I was going home for Christmas or Thanksgiving. And I had gone to view an apartment with someone, and this person was from Pittsburgh. Her name was Danielle, and she was from Pittsburgh. Gone to look at her apartment. She wasn't home when I looked at the apartment. Her current roommate was. And so I took a look at it, and she was looking for a roommate because that roommate I talked to was moving out. And so he showed me around, and um, I looked at it, and then I liked it. And the day before I left to jump on a train to go home, I think it was for Christmas, um, I handed her a check for the rent to secure the place, and I left New York. And I'm like, if this person just robbed me, I would have no recourse. Like I could come back to New York and not have a place to live because this person just took my money and ran. What would I be able to do about it? It wasn't like I was moving in and then giving her money and getting keys and all that. I didn't even get keys. I just handed a check over and left. And so I was kind of a little nervous, but I felt good about it. I felt like everything was on the up and up. And I came back to New York and she was fine and I got keys and we moved in and I lived there in Park Slope, not Park Slope, in Sunset Park for a number of years. Um, Andrew was in East Williamsburg, and he had a 5 flight walk up with someone, and my place was kind of, I guess, a little more centrally located. I don't know. It was along the express train a little more. And I actually had kind of a slightly, I don't know if it was really bigger, but he had a railroad style. Is that what they call them? Where all the rooms are like in a row. And mine was more set up. There were two bedrooms and a kitchen and dining and living area. And so my roommate, she moved out then and was moving somewhere else. So I took over the whole place. And I had a roommate, my one of my best friends from college. He was living in Philly and wanted to try New York. So he moved in for a while. That was before I met Andrew. And then in the meantime, I met Andrew and we were hanging out. And then my friend from Philly decided he didn't like New York so much, moved back to Philly. And then Andrew and I moved in together. So that was my New York story. I was there from I was there for about 5 or 6 years. Um, and that I moved there in 2004, I think. I graduated college in 2003 after 5 years. Because I added a second major and added a year on for myself. And I think so I graduated at the end of 2003. And I think in January of 2004, I moved to New York. Um, yeah, I think so. And then almost we moved out in 2000, the end of 2009, the beginning of 2010, somewhere in there. So 5 to 6 years or so, I was in New York. Um, let's see here. Kim asked, when were you in New York? And have you or Andrew been or read The City We Became? Total fantasy, great NYC book. I don't know if he has. I have not read that. I'll have to check it out. Um, but yeah, that's when I was there. He had gone to college there, so his dates were shifted a little bit from mine. He was there a little bit longer than me because he had gone to college there and did all that. So um, he was there more than I was, but mostly doing college and working. Um, so yeah, yeah. Susan's kind of like a shotgun house. Yeah. Yeah. His was set up that it had the kitchen with the bathroom off of the kitchen, then the living area, then a bedroom, and then you had to go through that bedroom to get to the other bedroom. But I think there was actually at both ends of the apartment, if I'm remembering right, there was actually a door from the outside. So the other bedroom, they kind of blocked off the door between the bedrooms because he had various roommates. So they blocked off, I think, that door. And the other roommate would go in that way if they wanted to go into their bedroom, or if they wanted to come into the kitchen, they would come in through the other door. Um, so yeah, it was, I don't like those kind of apartments. Um, but there are a lot of them in New York. And so we kind of chose mine to move into. For one, mine was on the first floor, much easier to get to. Um, and while Andrews was it was much closer to the cool happening stuff. Um, all the like the queer bars and the restaurants, and there was a lot more happening in Williamsburg than kind of Sunset Park. I did have a very nice park to go to, and we were kind of in the middle of very good, like there was Asian cuisine, there was Middle Eastern, there was Mexican. It was in the middle of a lot of different communities and cuisines. So food was important to us. So yeah, we moved into my place and um, uh, he was able we turned the second bedroom into kind of a for a while I think it was like a TV watching room, and then he turned it into kind of an office and create a little studio for himself, and just a little hangout place that we had in there. So yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed New York. I spent way too much money while I was there. uh, I think of the money that I could have now or have in savings or have invested. The amount of money I spent in clothes. Um, I would go out to a fairly fancy place, and if I was going out for the night, and just buy a new outfit for the night. Um, and that meant everything, like shoes, pants, shirt, sometimes a coat, overcoat, a jacket, sunglasses if it was, wallet, watch sometimes, like, um, it's a little I was a bit much, but I could do that then. I was making more money, and you know, it was fun, but it was a lot. It was a lot. Um, but yeah, not anymore, not anymore. And I don't really care about all that anymore so much. It's not a big deal to me to do stuff like that. Um, I'd rather, spend time with the cats and have make sure they're doing well, and they've got what they need, and I can wear my old navy jeans and t-shirts and whatnot. I don't need my diesel clothes and all that anymore. Diesel was a big place that I shopped very often. Um, but it was an experience because it was the first time in my life that I could find clothes that actually fit. Um, I was very I was very skinny and lanky and long. I always felt uncomfortable. Um, Very often I could never find clothes back home that actually fit correctly. They were either too big, like shoulders falling down your arms, like they weren't at the right points. It wasn't fitted clothing. It was all just, and um because I was so skinny and I was kind of lanky and long-legged and always felt so weird. And then when I moved to New York, I found places that I could afford, and they had nicer clothes, and they had clothes that actually, like, I would look at them like, oh my goodness, my waist and my actual length of pants. Like, it was amazing. Um, and they had like smalls or extra smalls, or like mediums that were actually mediums that would fit. Um, and so I did go a little bit crazy because I actually felt good in clothing for the first time in my life. Um, Not for the first time. I went through a phase with where I did oversized, like Jenko. I had Jenko stuff. My grandmother always spoiled me and my brother for school shopping. Um, and so I had vitiligo when I turned like 13, 12 or 13, somewhere in there. Um, and that kind of distorted my whole view of myself, for a very long time. And so I started covering up. And I would wear suits to school even though we didn't have to. There was no dress code like that. Um, and always long sleeves, always long pants. Um, Anything to cover up myself. And I think she knew what was going on with me, and so she would spoil me and my brother with shopping trips, to get ready for school. And she would allow me to buy suits or blazers or sweaters or things like that. And um, I kind of, I got picked on a lot for it. And of course, the fact that people could tell I was also gay, and like it was a hard time. And so on my senior year in high school, I don't know what prompted it. I don't know why I finally decided. I think it was because I went to prom in my junior year, and I kind of broke out of my shell a little bit, like just dancing and having fun. And I started going to dances at the school more and hanging out a little bit more, where I'd never done that before. Um, and so I wanted to dress differently, and so I got into the Jenkos and the big legged, wide legged pants, and kind of oversized shirts. And I got much more positive feedback from that. I made a lot more friends in school suddenly, that year. I'm like, if it could be like this, if it could have been like this the whole time. But I was too in my head about the vitiligo and being gay and being found out, and not coming out, but kind of being forced out sometimes. Um, and so I actually did like that style, and I embraced that style for a while, and I had more fun hair, and that's when I started experimenting with hair color and stuff like that. And so um, that kind of led into it. And from there, I went into college and kind of really broke free in college a little bit, um, and did some thrifting and stuff like that to find cool clothes, and started, painting my nails and sometimes doing makeup, and did a lot of that kind of stuff for a while. And then when I went to New York, I actually found new clothes that actually could fit, and I did it. So that's my story. Um, Jen says I lived in the South Slope by Greenwood Cemetery, 15 blocks from the subway. Nice. Yeah, I was on 50. What was I on? 51st and 6th. I was about 2 blocks from the N train, down an avenue and over a block, I think, from the N train. It was either 53rd and 6th or 51st and 6th. I think it's 53rd and 6th Avenue in I think. Um, that's where I lived. So we lived close to the same place. Now that's South Slope. Now I live in Park Slope. I lived right in kind of in Park Slope. I believe, I can't remember what my address was in Park Slope. The 53rd and 6th was in Sunset Park. In Park Slope, uh I know there was like the chip shop. We used to go to the chip shop a good bit. It was fried food. It was set up like an English pub kind of food, fried food, fish and chips, fried Snickers, all that kind of stuff. And we were like 2 or 3 blocks away from that. But we were pretty central. Um, at the time, it may have been considered still South Slope where we were too, but we were like a block or two from all the stuff. This is 22nd and 7th. Yeah, I don't have a clue. That's weird. I don't remember exactly where I was in Park Slope, but I was only there for probably under a year, maybe a year, um, before my roommate said she was moving somewhere else. Susan says, I hated my high school days, still occasionally have nightmares about those times. Yeah, it's a hard time for some people. It was really hard for me. And I know it's hard for a lot of people. Um, I thankfully had a very good senior year for the most part. Um, I will say that my grades weren't as great, um, but I chose socializing over hyperfixation on the grades. The friends that I had through high school, my one friend and I, we were talking about this when he visited. Our friends were we were more competing than we were actual friends. It wasn't quite frenemies, but we weren't friends in the traditional sense of friends for the most part. Like it was always a competition between us. Who was going to get the better grade? Who was going to be, valedictorian? And um, I, for a while, I was, I don't know, number 3 or number 4 in the grade, um, as far as grades wise and GPA and all that. And I think I ended at 9, um, just because I kind of let a little bit of that go. I had built my whole personality around that. And um, it was kind of nice not to have to do that. And I still did well. I just gave up on certain things that I just chose not to, I never I never got less than a B, except one gym class. I got a D because I kept not dressing because gym was my anxiety. I hated gym class. And I hated it so much that I kept forgetting my clothes and I couldn't dress for gym class. So I ended up with a D. My mom wasn't too bad about it. She understood. But uh and that's probably one of the things that sunk my my GPA a little bit. But it was it was nice to let go and kind of I look back on those days and I'm like, at least I had senior year. Because if I would not have had senior year the way I did it, I would totally probably have looked back on a very negative view of high school. Um, and now at least I can say, well, high school wasn't all terrible because I kind of changed for the last year. Um, I do think about to this day, which is so it doesn't matter, but I still think to this day, what if I had done that, what I did in senior year earlier? How could my entire school career have been different? And, maybe not gotten picked on every single day, or physically assaulted almost every day. Could have been very different. But yeah. Yeah, it was not a great time for most of it. Senior year was better though. It was a lot better. All right, y'all. Well, that's my look. I just trauma dumped on y'all. Sorry about that. But no, I mean, I think it's important to discuss these things when they come up, and I think a lot of people have the same kind of things that they've gone through. I think we find each other for certain reasons, right? And sometimes those reasons come out. And I'm sure a lot of you probably had some not so great experiences in high school, but I'm sure some of you loved high school too. Let me know in the comments. Did you? Did you have a good time? Did you not? Let me know. I'm going to flip the camera around and we're going to take a look at some things. Yesterday, I teased you with Andrew's enamels that have ghosts and skulls and things like that. So people kept asking me, I don't know if those people are here today, but if they're not, hopefully they'll watch the replay, because I have them today. Now, I'm going to show them to you all, and you get the first look here this year at these. And if they do not sell, they are going with me to Squonkapalooza this weekend for a little spooky time. Um, so grab them now, because they may not be available afterwards if you like them. All right. And so we're going to start with that. So let me flip the camera around. I talked for longer than I planned to talk today because this is my short day, but we'll get back to it. We'll get things back on track. Kimberly says, love Andrew's enamels. Me too. I think he's planning to come up today. He's not here today because he's working on some things at the house. He was working on his paper, his new paper fibers that he's working on. He was working on those late last night, and he's working on a few things at the house, but I think he's going to plan to come up here. We drove separately so that he could come up later and just stay up here probably he's probably going to be up here for the evening, I'm guessing. I don't know. At least while I'm at my class. So these are $32 each. We'll be selling them at Squonkapalooza for that, so I can't really bring the price down for y'all, but this is the first one. Remember that butterfly we had the other day? This is the same kind of red and black, but this time with a skull. By the way, LKJ. The letters were going to be MLK, because that's what was next in the alphabet, MLK. But I was like, I don't feel like using those initials for a sale. That didn't feel right. So I skipped MLK. We're going to LKJ. Kim says, your story, William, reminds me of the It Gets Better campaign. It is definitely, it is definitely an It Gets Better story. I had a terrible self-view. I was an awkward, geeky kid. I had, I don't know what, it's probably not politically, but I had buck teeth, whatever you call those now, an overbite, a severe overbite, only in the first like four teeth, front four teeth. My jaw, not only did I have an overbite, but my bottom jaw was recessed. So it made it more pronounced. And I I was skinny, I was awkward. I used to be very tan. I never ever burned in the sun. My brother was fairer skinned and he would burn. I would never burn. And then um, I had vitiligo that happened to me. And I started off, that was during pretty much puberty. So, when you feel the most awkward anyway, throw vitiligo on top of that, where your skin is splotchy and you have white spots and dark spots. It was all over. It started on my back and then it just went back, arms, legs, face. So I had to go to school with that. And um, then I then I realized that I was gay, and that was not okay where I grew up. Um, I mean, maybe if I had just owned it, it would have been okay, maybe. But I couldn't do that. I felt like I couldn't do that with everything else. That was just another thing that was like, oh, here we go. So I totally built up walls around me and toward other people. This is an owl on a branch and a ghost hanging out together on this beautiful purple and black background. Um, so yeah, I went from that. Luckily, my grandmother helped um, have some dental stuff done. I had a contraption that I wore on my head that not only brought my front teeth back, but pulled my jaw forward. And over time, um, it locked my jaw into a more forward position. Um, they were so many people. We went to a lot of different orthodontists, and a number of them just wanted to, like, what they usually do is they remove like 4 to 6 of your teeth and pull your teeth back. And my mom did not like that idea. So um, we kept looking for different options and we found an orthodontist, actually, I think here in Ligonier, but they also had a place, I think, in Greensburg. And I can't remember. I think we came to the one in Ligonier here once or twice. Um, but this orthodontist had this contraption that pulled your jaw forward and pulled your teeth back at the same time. And I wore a head thing. He wanted me to wear the head thing even to school. And thank goodness my mom was like, you just wear it when you're home. She's like, I'm not going to make you wear that to school. And here's a witch on a broom. And so I wore it when I was home and I didn't have to wear it to school. And I wore it for years. And it ended up doing such a good job that the orthodontist asked if they could take an impression of my teeth because they had it before. They asked if they could take an impression of the after, so that, and they put it in their showcase of what could be done with that. Um, and we never told the orthodontist that I didn't wear it to school. So it did such a good job, even not wearing it to school. Maybe he figured it out, or maybe my mom told him in private. I don't know. But um, I was very thankful for that. And that kind of fixed my facial structure a little bit. Um, but I still had all you know, the mental and emotional things. And I didn't wear shorts until I almost left New York. So I hadn't worn shorts since I got vitiligo at 13 years old. And it probably was around 20 when I was 26. So probably another 13 years that I wouldn't even put shorts on. Um, I always wore long pants, long shirts. Look at this little cat. This little fluffy, it looks like Tallulah, fluffy cat. Kimberly says, oh, a pink witch. Love it. Yeah, I love these. Love, love, love these. I've got two more to show you. I know some people might be waiting. So far, no sales on these. So some people might be waiting for them all. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't want them. I don't know. I don't know. But like I said, these will be going to Squonkapalooza with us this Saturday. if they don't sell here. I love this one. This is an old kind of witch's house. It's an old house with a graveyard in the front. I love this one. Hopefully you can see what, I know the lights are reflecting funny, but, and these are gold decals on enamel from Andrew. That kitty reminds me of Roly Poly Phil, says Susan. Nice. Yeah, our Tallulah, she's got that big fluffy tail. That's what it reminds me of. And Andrew really prices his enamel low. Just so you know, I know 32 might seem like a good bit to some people, and I know it can be, but for an enamel piece like this, when you see other people's work, this is actually a very low price. And this one is the Ghost Friend. The Ghost Friend on the purple and black. I like the ghost face. It's like, ah! It's super cool. That's a super cool spooky house, says Kimberly. It is, right? So that's the 6 of these spooky time well, not ornaments, they're pendants, from Andrew. And where's my other? Oh, there it is. I was like, where's the ruler I like to use? They're all hand cut, so they're about 30. This is 35 by 38 millimeters. They do vary in size. This one's still about 35, but by 36. This one's probably a little bit smaller. It's about 35 by 33. So they're all around that kind of, but he cuts them all by hand. And it's, he cuts them by hand because it's on a thin gauge copper. And generally you can't buy copper rounds in that thin of a gauge. They don't always sell them, but he also likes that it's it looks different. It looks like it's been hand done, which is nice. Susie, hey Susie, says, holy mackerel, I drove around looking at the damage of this last storm. Oh boy. I still haven't been to the grocery store, so I haven't seen down that area what it looks like yet. So those are the pendants by Andrew. Enamel, gold decals on enamel. I'm gonna move, whoop, I guess you can't see that. I'm gonna move these down a little bit to make a little bit of room. And those will be good for spooky season. All right, let me get up in here. And how is, I guess there's a lot of damage, Susie. I've only been from the house up this way. That's pretty much, I did go down to Dollar General in the post office, but that was all just within this kind of corridor here through 7-Eleven and 271. But I haven't been around most of the rest of town. Okay, let's see what I've got. Now to the bag of goodies. LKJ7. I've got this lampwork glass. Who else out there? Say hi if you're out there. Anybody else out there joining us? Beautiful lampwork bead. This bead is approximately 34 by about 20 at the widest. One of those available. Only $10 for a lampwork glass. Artisan lampwork. Don't know who though, so the price is low. And then got 4 of these. And these are $4 each. These are these beautiful AB vintage check cubes. AB finish, kind of metallic. And these cubes, I think they're 4 millimeters. If my eyes are right. Yeah, 4 millimeters. Susie says, only affected the trees on West Main Street side by giant eagles. So many trees along Route 30 by the fort, and 2 huge trees down East Main street by Napa. Yeah, I saw the photos on the East Main Street. Jen says, quite a walk down memory lane, right? Donna says, I'm here watching on my old iPad and commenting on my phone. Nice. Kimberly says, there's 12 watching on YouTube, but only 6 likes. Don't forget to show the love and smash the like button. Yeah, y'all. It's free. It's free. Hit the like. Hit the like. Hit the like. It's free to comment. It's free to like. We hope you'll do a lot of both. It helps us out, especially on these afternoon ones. The more you comment, the more people find us. I mean, that happens on every video, but it's especially because the afternoons here are usually a little slower. So the more y'all say stuff and talk, even talking to each other, talking to me, asking questions about the products, it does help. No takers on the enamel. So those look like they will be going. I'll probably take pictures of them and put them up on Facebook real quick, and then I'll be able to show them off for coming to Squonkapalooza. It's not quite the holiday themed show, but I think a lot of people are starting to get a jump on the holiday, the spooky holiday this year. I don't know why. I think it's because the heat everywhere. I feel like people are especially looking forward to the cooler, spooky time. I think we all need it in our life a little bit too. With everything going on in the world, I think people are just looking for joy, right? And for a lot of people, spooky time, Halloween is a joyful time for people. Let's see what I've got next here. So it says, we've all had such unusual and scary weather lately. That's for sure. That's for sure. We definitely have. Spooky season unofficially started July 5th. Oh, yeah. Nice. Nice. 4th of July is done. On to the next one, right? These are beautiful glass drops, faceted. They've got a kind of platinum plating on them. They're a black glass drop. And we have 2 of these strands available. I think these are 8-inch. These are half strands. Yeah, 8-inch strands. And the drops are 15 by 8. And so I thought that would be great for spooky season. Somebody looking to make some earrings with some sparkly black drops. Nice and light glass beads. Susie says, hey, everyone came over here to give a thumbs up. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. LKJ 10. See, we had 13 people. People started doing thumbs ups and talking a little more. Now we have 17. Thank you all for joining us. If you're out there, please say hi. If you're new to us, please say hi. If you have any questions, if you'd like to purchase from us, all you got to do is take down the LKJ number today, put it in the subject line of an email, and send it to us at info@allegorygallery.com. Hey, Harry. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you here, Harry. Let's see here. Susan says, the big box stores sort of decided that, but I still enjoy the year-around decorating people show on IG and Facebook. Yeah. I was starting to see Thanksgiving stuff in the stores, which is wild to me. Here are these strand of eye beads, protection beads, Nazar beads. Use them in as eyes. Andrew sometimes uses these in his creatures as eyes. These beads are about 10 millimeters, and that's about, I think, a 14, 13, it's a 14-inch strand. 14-inch strand. We've sold one of the 9s. Thank you so much. There's still one left if you'd like to grab that. Yay, I made a sale. That means I don't have to keep going. I'm only allowed to leave for class if I make a sale, at least one. So thank you. You've helped me. I'm gonna go ahead and put away these other enamel pendants and the ghosty. Harry says, I make spooky time all year. Yep. I like when Harry makes the spooky time all year. Good times. Susan says Pinterest too. Everybody's saying hi. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put away the lampwork bead. How have you been, Harry? What's going on? What's going on over there? I've seen you been making some jewelry, making some ceramics as usual. I haven't seen many food pictures from you lately. I feel like I used to post more food. I feel like post more food pictures. I haven't posted many of our food pictures though either. Sue says, I'm so tempted by those enamels. Good. I'm glad. Makes me feel better. It's hard when you show things like, especially Andrew's like hard made stuff and then nobody wants any. What? But I know people like to see everything, especially if they're spending a little bit more on those. 1, 2, 3, about 4 of these. These are the duck tongues. Amanda says, I see something green, orange, and brass at the top right. Is that a finished piece? Oh, this is from you apparently didn't watch the BFF live, Amanda. You're talking about this? This is my bracelet from the BFF live this Saturday that we did with Kimberly and Maisha and Dominique and Amy. And we used Allegory Gallery fine pewter. Everybody got a little package of Allegory fine pewter to play around with. And this is what I made with mine using the large ball and the small ones. So we did a 3-hour live together on Saturday night. And that's still available to watch. If you'd like to watch it, check it out. Harry says, working on the house, new roof, restore the chimney, dealing with heat. Oh, I don't envy any of that. None of it. It's a lot of work. Dominique says, such a great time. It was. We hope we can do it again. We were asking yesterday, Andrew was asking if the BFF crew would want to work with any of his enamels. So Kimberly said yes. I don't know how everyone else feels. What do you think, Dominique? Would people like to use his enamels? These are bird tongues or duck tongues. I'm sure they have another name, but that's what we've always heard them called. Check glass. And these are the blue and kind of brownish black. Well, they're actually more like purple. They're purple and blue inside, I'm going to say. And we've got 4 strands of those. Susan says, that's an awesome bracelet, William. Thank you. Jen says, it was fun. Amanda says, oh, wow, that's gorgeous. Thanks. Yeah, I used, so in this, I used fake vintage plastic, fake, wow, amber. That's what it is. And then the Allegory Gallery fine pewter. I used some vintage spacers, you know, the hanks of vintage spacers, or vintage seed beads, actually. I call them spacers. You can see how much I use them. But remember when we were selling the hanks of these, I used some of those for the spacers, and then the Venetian glass beads that we brought back from Venice in the green. I used those. So, and then of course an Allegory Gallery fine pewter toggle, the twisted toggle in the antique gold. Thanks. Kim says the BFF show all 3 hours was so fun. Oh, good. Kimberly says we are all excited to do that. Oh, good. Kimberly says working out some logistics on that. Nice. Nice, nice. LKJ 12. Let's see what else I've got in here. God. Another, looking for a specific thing. I wanted to show. Here, I wanted to show these together. I have more of the duck tongues. These ones. And I've got 7 of these ones available. Susan, I'm sorry I missed that show. Hubs was feeling like a bead widower, so we did a movie night. Nice. I hope you can catch a replay. It was a lot of fun. It's worth watching the replay. We also did a sale on our fine pewter for the weekend to give people who are watching a discount to grab their own fine pewter. So we had a 20% off sale on the fine pewter stuff, which was really nice. Well, there are a lot of strings in this. And a lot of nice people grabbed some stuff from the sale. So we're super appreciative of that. And we want to work on, do some more stuff with y'all, hopefully. There we go. So these are the duck tongues, this time in the green and red and clear. Kimberly says it's available for replay. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Catch the replay. We linked it on our Facebook page. Of course, nobody sees anything on our Facebook page apparently, because we barely get any likes on any posts on anything we do on our Facebook page. It just doesn't show it to people, which is annoying. But you can get it there. And I'm going to go ahead and also drop the link there in the chat. And then you can take a look. We've got, ooh, it's up to 536 views. That's really good. That's really good. I think that's one of the best of the BFF lives, which is nice. And it's definitely one of the highest lives on our channel, because we don't do collaborative lives like that very often. So our lives are this, and we don't get 500 views generally on our lives every weekday. That's for sure. We get 100 and some usually, maybe 200. Kimberly says, oh goodness, red duck tongues. That's a horror angle to it for sure. We can write a novel about all the ducks missing their little tongue. I know, right? But aren't they cool? And these are, I'm definitely not going fast for being on my short day. I'm going to grab this one because this one's easier to hold on to and measure. The duck tongues are about 18 by 8. 18 by 8 millimeters. Oh, Kimberly also dropped the link in there. Make sure that is streamed from Maisha's channel. blue sapphire. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to Maisha too if you don't already. I wasn't sure if you were still in your meeting, Kimberly. I didn't want to ask you to drop links if you were currently attending your meeting. So these were 32. I'm going to drop it down to 26 for y'all. Susan says, "Oh, Kim, that would make me sad." I know, right? Those little ducks look missing their tongues. Oh, maybe it's ducks that can let their tongues go to speak for them, right? And then they come back. So it's not so sad. This was they were $4 each, and there are 8 of them, so that would be $32. This is kind of like 2 different sets. You get this kind of set here, and then you get these. It's almost like 3 because I don't know. It's at least 2 different sets of beads, right? Looks like. But these are beautiful lampwork glass. And there's the old price, $4 each. And so they were 32. Bring them down to 26. You know what? What's it? 8, 16, 24. Let's bring them down to 24. We'll bring them down $1 a bead. So $3 a bead. How about that? $3 a bead instead of 4. And the beads, generally similar, about 18 millimeters at the widest. The rondelles are a little bit shorter at about 12. No, what am I saying? Not 18, 13 to 14. 13 to 14. As I nominate William to write that book. No way. No way. I don't have time to write any books. I don't have time to write any books. I used to love writing. I took creative writing classes in college, and I loved it so much. But especially like poetry. But it has been years, and I don't have that kind of time, unfortunately. This is LKJ 14, and this is beautiful check glass, vintage check glass. This is a really big strand for $6. This is from the shop. If we got this nowadays, this would be an $8 to $10 strand. We just got a really good deal on it back then. And you can see this is a 1600 number. That's from when we very first started the shop, not too long after. So things were priced a little differently back then. And now this would be especially this size and vintage check, this would be an 8 to 10, maybe even a $12 strand. So we're giving it to you for $5 tonight. I've got one of them available here if you want that. $5. It's a really beautiful, almost like a silver or platinum plated amber glass. It's got some kind of silvery sheen to it, and it's really pretty. LKJ 14. The beads, they're all a little different because it's vintage. Sizing was not easy back then. It still isn't. They're about 15 by 10 millimeters. All right. Putting these away. LKJ 8s. Vintage check AB squares or cubes. Cubes, that's the word. I've got one of these left. The one sale today, thank you. I've got one of those still available at $7. I'm gonna go ahead and put the Nazar eye beads away. 22 down to 18. Get in there. Get in the bag. William needs a ghostwriter. I know, right? I'm going to go ahead and put the first duck tongues away in the blue and purple. That's a good Halloween color. Okay. And move down here, these down, and move these down. Oh, we sold those. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. Especially on the Wednesdays here that are slow. All right. Oh, and this is something I wanted to show you. I showed it on the BFF Live. If you've never seen one of these, let me move this up a little bit for a second. If you've never seen these, this is, let me move these off to this. This is one of the molds that creates the fine pewter. So hold on one second. I'll be right back. So this is one of the molds, and many of you love the floral toggle that we make. And this is the mold for it. So each one of these would fit in there like that. And then over here, let's see how that fits in. This way, this way. Looks like it goes up somehow like that. And so what this is this disc. It has these in here. It's a black rubber, and the black rubber is put through a vulcanization machine that softens it to create these impressions. And then it hardens it back up with pressure. And so those impressions are made. And then these, you can see there's vent holes. So these are carved in afterwards to be vent holes. And then these are carved in. This is where the metal comes in. So each one of these lines up over here. And then you'll see a V here, which lines up with this V. So you know that it's the, I forget what it's called. They're like registration marks on printing, or should be. Why are my V's not lining up? There it goes. I was in the wrong place. So those line up, and then this is dropped into a big machine that is like a centrifuge. It spins this, and hot metal comes pouring in, and it hits these channels, and when it's spinning, it pulls the hot metal into each of these recessed areas, each of these carved out areas. The vent holes allow the air and excess metal to kind of escape, so they don't kind of blow up in there. And then this is taken out, and when they're cooled, they're taken out in this big ring, and they're pinched off with with cutters, and then they're polished up. They're, sometimes you have some details that need to be worked on, or sanded down, and then oftentimes then they're dropped in a tumbler and they're tumbled, and then after that, that's just the regular silver pewter, and then after that they're put into a machine to have the finishing put on. So this is antique copper finish, for example, and that finish is put on. But each one of those would be cut off by hand, cleaned up, put in a tumbler, and that's how they're made. And it's a pretty cool thing. It's a pretty cool thing. We cannot afford the machine for this, so we need to look for somebody, hopefully here in the country. We'd like to stay in the US if we can, to do the casting for these. But the machine is usually $10,000 to $20,000 that does this work. So and we cannot afford that. And Andrew, even if we could afford it, Andrew's like, I don't think I really actually want to do that part of it either. So, yeah. So that's that. Dominique says it's so fascinating, right? Kimberly says, oh, wow, love that toggle. Yeah, have you never seen this one? We've used this one in some of our own kits, and it's one of the more popular toggles. So you've got the floral pattern on there, and then you've got the flowers and the vine around that part of the toggle, and then it comes up and locks into place. That's available antique copper, antique gold, antique silver. Okay. I just saw that setting there, and I talked that through with the BFF Live, but I also wanted to let you all know and have you all see it, because I don't think we've ever shared that, or at least haven't in quite some time. See all the stuff you learn here when you hang out with us? Hopefully learn anyway. Maybe you already knew that, but we try and share as much as we can. All right, this is a pendant. It's an intaglio pendant. It's carved on the back. It's in glass. So it's carved through in the back, and you've got this on the front. And this pendant is $10. Oops. And it is about 25 by 35 millimeters. One of those. And let's see what else is next. Kimberly says, love it. That's an amazing process, says Susan. It is. It's so cool. It's fun to see it done. I've seen it done a few times, but it is a lot of work, which is why Andrew doesn't want to do it ourselves. It's a lot of cutting and polishing, and we could do the plain pewter possibly, but doing the finishing, then the finishes, would be an entirely different thing. But we will be able to do bronze and silver soon. So we'll be able to do bronze and silver casting soon. And Andrew will be creating wonderful things to cast, I'm sure, out of wax. This is the last one of these. I know a lot of you already have these, because you've grabbed them before because they're so pretty. But these are these wonderful moonstone faceted rounds that are so flashy. I know a lot of you can attest to how nice these are because you've grabbed them before. Some of you multiple strands. They're super beautiful. They've got lots of great flash to them for as small as they are. And I've got one strand left. It's $20. No more of these. Probably will not get more of these. Not at this quality, not at that price anymore. These were an older strand price. These are approximately 3 millimeters. And I think they're at least 13-inch strands usually on these. Let me see here. Let's see what these are 12. They're a 12-inch strand. Yeah, they're a little bit nicer and bigger than some of the other microfaceted ones we've had. But one strand of those, LKJ, 15, $20. Moonstone. Rainbow moonstone. Let's see here. We've got one of these left only. We'll price it at 14 for y'all instead of 18. This is um, a yellow quartz. Yellow quartz. Those are dyed, but really pretty color on those. We had some yellow things last night, like that lampwork glass we had. That would be really pretty with that lampwork glass, a little bit yellow, gold, a little bit of brown. We had those yellow and brown vintage check glass strands last night. This would go really lovely with those. These I think are 6mm. Yeah, 6mm faceted rounds. Just the one strand left, $14 for the strand. LKJ 16. One, only 3 of these left. They were 12. Let's go to 10. These are black onyx rounds, small black onyx. I know some of you out there love the black onyx. These are small black onyx rounds. And I've got the strand of those, 3 strands available, $10 each. These are 4mm, 4mm black onyx rounds, $10 a strand, 3 strands available. I'm gonna go ahead and put the duck tongues away in the red and green, very holiday-like. Add those to some snowflakes. That would be fun, snowflake beads. These are 12. Gonna go ahead and put the lampwork beads away. $24 on that strand. Oops. And I used 14 twice. So this is going to be 14A. If anybody's looking for that. 14A. Sorry, y'all. Didn't notice I did that. Somebody grabbed 14 already. Appreciate that. 15 down, 16 down, and 17 down. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are carved. Well, actually, they're batik dyed bone beads. There are 7 of them available, and they were $2.50 each. I'm going to do them for $2 each. Drop them down to $2 each. The batik dyed bone. These are kind of coinish shaped bone. which we don't see that shape very often like that. They're gerled through that way. And kind of a flower kind of pattern there. And LKJ 18, $2 each, 7 of them there available. Anybody have lunch yet? I can't believe it's quarter 20 till 5 here. 20 till 5, and I've not had anything to eat yet. I don't usually eat a lot of lunch, but I'm feeling hungry. The coffee's making me feel extra hungry for some reason today. LKJ 19. This is one of Andrew's pendants. It's the crown skull. Was $10. We'll bring it down to 8. LKJ 19. One of those available. And that is 27 millimeters. 27 millimeters. And it's really that a fun kind of purpley blue gold color. There you can see kind of the colors that make it up. One of those available. Great for spooky season as well. Let's see what we got next. LKJ 20. I've got, I think we had these in black the other day. Now, where's my, ooh, I'm gonna need my triangle. Hold on. He's back in the bag. Let me put these in a bag because I need this triangle for now. Let's see here. We've got, these are a vintage plastic, vintage acrylic bead, all in white. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 of them for $6. Maybe 12. Let's see here. Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. There you go. Vintage acrylic LKJ 20. Those are larger beads too, which is nice. Very light. And it's about 16 millimeters. Kim says, I have one of those crown skulls. Can't wait to make something with it. So cute. Great for Dia de los Muertos. Yes, it is. Yes, they are. That's another one that is coming up, right? That people celebrate. We always talk about Halloween a lot, but Dia de los Muertos comes up too, which I like the idea behind that. I always have liked the idea behind that. You know, you consider your ancestors and think of them, and it's a whole day just to kind of celebrate them. All right, let me put this away. Look at the cool black and white palette on the tip. I know, right? That's right. Yeah, it's true. You put these away. Stop distracting from it, right? Yeah, these would be fun. I didn't do that on purpose, but good call. Good call, Kim. Be fun together, right? I like when that happens serendipitously. I learned that word. What were the books? I think it was Miss Serendipitous or Miss, I forget, is that the name of the book? They were like Miss and Mr. or I can't remember. Learned that word when I was young. I don't think it was the same as like, because there were the Miss and Misters that were like kind of just general, kind of like their bodies were like little shapes, and they were the little white books. But this was a different series, and I think they were a tall book like this. It was almost like a dinosaur. I can't remember. Kim's asking Andrew's polymer pendants. Is it easy to drill holes at the bottom to apply fringe? Yes. Yes, it is. You can definitely drill holes in there. And really, I I don't even think you really need to have, like, you just want a nice, smallish drill bit. But generally, you don't have to worry too much as long as as long as you're not doing like right at the edge, right? You got to get up in there. Like you can see where he puts the holes. They're always a little bit, they're not right near the edge. You don't want to crack the edge. I mean, his holes are definitely done before um, the process of heating them and hardening them. But you can drill right in. Just stay a little bit up from the edge, and you could do it with a Dremel. You don't have to do it like underwater or anything special like that with them, but you should be fine to go ahead and drill them. All right, let's see here. I'm going to stick with the black and white on the table, and we're going to these are matte black onyx. And I've got, I think, about 10 of these available. LKJ 21. This is a matte black onyx. Very nice beads. These are 8mm. 8mm. These are like half strands. These are 8-inch strands. $10 only. Beautiful beads. Nice black, nice matte. Kim says, yeah, I'm looking for a tiny hole just enough to fit a beading needle. Yay, I get to use my Dremel. Yes, you can use that. Should be fine. Should be fine. All right. What's next? All right, these were 21. Bring them down to 18. You're getting a really good deal on these if you want them. These are entire necklaces, batik dyed bone necklaces. And here you can see they were $21. They have hey, Cindy, thanks for joining us. You found us on the Wednesday afternoon live. Thanks for hanging out. So these are batik dyed bone, and they come with the screw-on closures. And now that I did it, I can't, hold on. Can't do it under the camera. I got to bring it up to my eyes so I can see what I'm doing. All right. So these are the screw-on. Cindy says, have I missed a bunch? We're at 22, Cindy. You've missed 21 of them. Some of them are still here. But yeah, definitely check a replay. But follow along here live for this, and then go back and check the replay. We've had a lot of good things. There were a lot of good things last night too. If you missed the replay from last night that weren't claimed, so definitely check that out too. We go live every weekday, so you can always check our replay and request things. There's oftentimes a number of things still available. But these are batik dyed bone, and you get these lovely long tubes. We don't see the bone tubes like this. Usually if we see the bone tubes, they are just plain, whereas these are the batik dyed. So you're getting at least 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of those. And then you get these kind of little flags. I call them flags. I don't know what they are. But you're getting those on there as well. So you're getting the 10 and the 4, you're getting 14 beads for $18, just a little over $1 a bead, which is a really great price. As you can see, these are $2 each. So that's a really good price for an entire necklace. And you can cut this up. We're not selling it at necklace prices. Obviously, they were $21. We're giving you a discount at 18. Kimberly says, so many great finds with Allegory Gallery. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, we sold 19. Andrew's pendant. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let me put that away. Yeah, how you doing, Cindy? It's been a little while since we've seen you. How's life going? What's happening for you? I was asking if anybody's had any lunch today. I have not. I've only had a coffee, my decaf coffee, and it is it's kind of making me hungry. I don't know what we're gonna have for dinner. Last night I had leftovers. Andrew wasn't really hungry and he was going to do work. So I don't know. He said, I had chips. So I don't know if he actually ate anything else in the middle of the night or not. But he's like, he told me to have the leftovers. So I did that. And one of our cats apparently was hungry and ate some of the um, carrot tops on the carrots and then use them to clean their stomach out. They do that. They go outside and eat grasses and then they throw them up because it helps, I guess, reset their stomach or helps them with their digestion. And they decided to do that with the carrot tops last night. Cindy says, I'm eating an ice cream cone. Nice. Nice. Cindy says, I was on a 2-week road trip to Colorado and back. Yeah, how was it? Are you back now then? I guess you're back. Because I know you were talking to us on the road here and there. And then we didn't see you for a while. So I hope you had a good trip. Now I remember you talking about that. You were on your way to Colorado. My cousin came to visit. He lives in Colorado. And he does the trip in about a day and a half or 2 days, just straight shot, straight driving. And I don't know how he does that, but when he comes to visit, he prefers to drive. And then he does it in like a day and a half or 2 days. Kim says, no lunch yet. Just got back from picking up groceries. So the sky's the limit. Perhaps the orange cream Tillamook ice cream. Oh, that's good for that's a good thing for lunch. Eat some ice cream for lunch. I don't know what I even feel like. That's the thing. Like, I'm hungry, but I don't even know what I would be interested in. This is a polymer clay pendant by Andrew. It's got this copper on the back and then this golden key on the front that's been carved in, hand carved. It's got the holes on the side going side to side. It's $20. You know what? I'll bring it down to 18 if somebody wants this. 18. And it's sizable, but it's not too heavy, which is nice. It's polymer clay, so it's kind of light. It's about 27 millimeters by about 48. And thickness wise, it's a little bit chunkier. If you like the chunky stuff, it's about 17 millimeters deep. Cindy says, thank you. And yes, it was amazing. Nice. Susan says, we're going to our neighborhood group's school supply fundraiser at a local taco restaurant tonight. Oh, nice. Tacos, dude, that sounds good. Mexican sounds good. Ooh, that would be good. We haven't been to our local Mexican restaurant in a little while. And They make some really good food. I think one of their tacos, we get the veggie taco, or one of the veggie things, whether it's a fajita or a taco. One of them has, I don't know if it still does. It used to have cactus in it, which I had never really had, I don't think, but it was really good. So they do some fun stuff. This is the petite die bone. I'm going to put that away. Nobody grab any of those. LKJ 18. And I'm going to go ahead and put where's my bag for this? These away. Susan says, I'd be happy with a bowl of chips and salsa with a side of Texas sheet cake. What is Texas sheet cake? Never heard of that. Move the matte onyx down. And move the bone necklaces down. Oh, and I do have multiples of these at $18. Cindy says, funny, I'm making tacos for dinner. Ooh, Mexican for a lot of people. Mexican night. LKJ 24. Let's see. Let's see. Let's do these. We'll do these at $1 each. I've got 16 of them available. They're these vintage Chinese ceramic. They look like knotted beads. It's just the illusion of the weaving. They look like a natural material kind of knotted bead, but they're just glazed that way. And they're kind of really cool. I think they're really cool, actually. And they're $1 each. Vintage Chinese ceramic. And they are approximately, it's a 1-layer chocolate cake baked in a sheet pan. Huh, I've never heard it called that. Texas cheesecake is amazing, says Cindy. Don't know what that is either. These are about 15 millimeters. Andrew did not make his dessert last night, at least not that I saw. I didn't look in the fridge this morning, but he didn't make it for dinner last night. He was too busy working on stuff. So I still don't know what's going to come of that. This is, we were talking to Harry earlier. This is a statue by Harry, artisan ceramic cat statue. Really beautiful. Anybody got a kind of golden brown tabby? Golden brown cat, LKJ 25, $16. Overall, it is about 2.5 by 1.5 inches. Andrew, is that you? Oh, it is. I was like, I heard I'm like, who is that? I got a big creature in here. I said, Andrew, is that you? No answer. Like, what?
William,
What?
I lost my big cucumber. I'm very sad about it.
Where did it go?
I don't know. That's how it's lost.
It's not under the seat in the car. Like, it's not.
I look.
It's not in this fridge. Did you look in this fridge?
Did you put it in the fridge?
I didn't, but maybe you did and forgot. We were tired.
No.
How'd you lose a big cucumber?
I must have put it in a bag with something. I don't
I
know.
don't know either. Andrew got one of his friends brought him this big cucumber. It was like this big
Apple.
instead of an apple for teacher.
It was they brought me a cucumber.
And it's
and
gone.
Giorgio.
Did they accidentally pick it up themselves?
I remember having it at the end.
Ah.
So I don't know what to tell you.
If we smell anything soon, it's
like, did the creature get it?
I know, creature hauled it away. I have the mate to Harry's cat. I'm looking at it right now, says Susan. Nice. Nice. So how's Andrew today?
All right. There's a lot to do and not a lot of time to do it. That's always puts a little bit of pressure on things. But we're hanging in there.
That's good.
Who's watching?
We've got, well, 9 people now. We were up to 16.
I don't know what happened. I got here and then everybody left.
No, it's a slow day. We've had 3 sales so far.
Good luck.
This is a ceramic pendant. $5, y'all. Artisan ceramic. We don't know by who. This is from the Unknown collection. But it
Posting good stuff.
looks like a tie. I think I have good stuff up here. It looks like a tie to me. I love it. Kimberly's still here. Thank you.
Howdy.
Let's see. We've been talking a little bit about lunch. A lot of people are having Mexican tacos, chips.
Sounds good.
Went to a Mexican restaurant. Making tacos. I know. I said we haven't been to our Mexican restaurant in a while.
I haven't gotten food in a while. Stomach. I ate one of those peaches. The peaches feel firm, but they're ready.
Oh, okay. I was looking at them. I'm like, they don't look ripe yet at all. So I was wondering. They are. That's good.
They're, not the most beautiful peaches, but they taste good.
That's good. I don't care what they look like.
Sometimes you don't know. Like sometimes the one it had like a splotch on it, and I thought it was a big bruise.
Yeah.
But it was nothing.
Nothing.
How about these? I love these.
I love these too.
I thought about making my own.
Kim says, "Hi, Andrew."
Howdy. I thought about making my own Dutch opal glass beads. Throw them in the tumbler.
These are the opalescent rondelles. $4 for the lot. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of them in a lot for $4. I've got 2 lots available. They are about 12 millimeters by 7.
They sure are glowy.
They are glowy. They're very glowy, and they got nice big holes in them too, which are about 2 millimeters. So 2 millimeter leather through there should be a-okay.
So who else is watching besides Kimberly?
Kimberly and Kim. Susan's here.
Yeah, howdy. Which Susan?
Surreal. Amanda from Canada.
Amanda from Canada.
Cindy at Big Karma just joined us a little bit ago. Anybody else still here?
Did anybody watch the BFF?
We were just talking about that because I showed them this again today.
The rubber
The rubber molds. And Susan missed the BFF. And Amanda missed the BFF. So we got some people who need to go back and watch. But we were talking about, I showed your enamel, your haunted enamel pieces today. And we were talking about maybe doing enamel on the BFF, like you said. Dominique was here earlier. I don't know if she's still here or not.
We have to figure out a date.
I know. I got to work on that. Hey! Gesundheit.
Hey, we'll go check the car again.
Okay.
Maybe I like put it in the
Amanda's cutting veggies. Nice. Let's see here. These were 18. I'll drop them down to 15. I've got 5 strands available. LKJ 28. These are black obsidian. Black obsidian mini rounds.
I could see Anna doing something cool with those.
Is Anna here? I think Anna was popped in today yet.
She's at work.
Probably working. These are small, 2 millimeters, 2 millimeter smooth rounds. We often get the microfaceted things, but these are smooth
Is
rounds.
my friend Charlie watching?
Charlie hasn't popped in. Oh, we sold one of the opalite lots. Thank you so much. One of those have sold.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Make sure you do that one.
Thank you, thank you.
They don't know what to do without it.
I know. And let's see, what do we got here?
Charlie, if you're watching, give me a sign.
Give me a sign. We've got these beautiful lampwork glass. They're $14 a bead. There are 6 of them available. Ooh, where'd that come from?
Don't worry about it. But Charlie requested some clear beads, so I thought I would show that.
Okay. These are beautiful lampwork.
I love those.
$14 each. 6 of them available. They go great with the opalescent glass.
How much are they?
14 each.
Oh god. Those
He's like, oh good.
I had those for a long time and I forgot who made them. And the bag, I wrote the name on the bag, and then of course the Sharpie rubbed off.
Of course.
So I no longer remember who made them, but they were real nice.
They were real nice. They are real nice. And last one, LKJ 30. How much you want on these? 2?
$3.
$3. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we've got 10 of them available. $3. These I don't have anywhere else. These Lucerne bicones that are clear with an AB finish. Andrew pulled these from his stuff. $3 a strand. Lucerne bicones, 10 strands available. Those would go really great with, was it number 4? Number 8. Which were these cubes. Look at that. Get the rainbow party going. So LKJ 30, that was LKJ 8 on those for $4 if you're interested in the cubes. Whoops, out of the frame here a little bit. There we go. All right, y'all. And that's it. It's that's my short day. I gotta get ready to go. So we got 30 lots for y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out with us today. If you have any questions, send us an email, info@allegorygallery.com. And we'll see you back here tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, right? On Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday already. And it's the end of the month, last day of the month. I can't believe August is almost here. Anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out. Have a great afternoon,